Hey guys, welcome to my May reading wrap-up. May, I think, started what is normally my trend of just reading less in the summer. I don't know offhand how many books I've read. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think, which is 9 less than last month. Maybe last month was a little excessive. I'm not... who am I to say? But I definitely read less, and I'm kind of okay with that. As the weather warms up, I'm out hiking and biking and just being outside, gardening, trying to attract birds to my yard. It's a very different season than winter is here, where you just want to stay inside all the time. So I'm trying to just be okay with the fact that, you know, some months are heavy reading months and some months aren't. It's partly why I'm have been going down to just one video a week here on this channel, just because I'm reading less. But let's get into all the books that I did read. Definitely had like a water lighthouse theme going on this month, not intentionally, but it happened. And yeah, I read a lot of good books. So the indie book club for May was Crosswords by Chantel Havig. This is technically book 3 in the Bookstring series, although you don't necessarily have to read them in order. I would always recommend it because you get little glimpses of previous characters in the books, but in these books we are introduced to a different bookstore and bookstore owner, and we have this man named Milton that always helps them out in some way. In Crosswords, we are actually at a Christian fiction bookstore, which I just thought was fascinating. How I'm hosting this book club is I'm hopping over onto my Instagram stories and sharing some thoughts at the end of each month. And like I said, I thought it was really cool that this one was a Christian fiction bookstore or just a Christian bookstore, because a lot of the recommendations then were Christian fiction and nonfiction. And like Shatona does, there's a book list in the back of the book where I underlined or highlighted some that I would like to read. So in this book, our main character, what was her name? Shiloh is one of them. Her nephew, who's like 20-ish, I think, is having like a crisis of faith. So we also follow him. His name is Judah. He spends a little bit of time working on an alpaca farm, which is kind of funny. And then we have another main character named Panda Marie, which is a hilarious name. Her older sister named her and couldn't say Amanda and said Panda, and the parents went with it, which is funny. And then we've got Milton that comes in and it more so helps the people than the bookstore. I mean, he's always helping the people, but this time, like, the focus really isn't the bookstore. And yeah, Shatona did not disappoint. One of the lighthouse-themed books that I read was Raccoon Key by Donna M. Cole. This is dual timeline. 1873, there was really a mystery of this woman that committed suicide, so the paper, like the doctor, wrote down, but she was killed in a way that like is not even possible to commit suicide. So there's like the mystery of why the doctor wrote that down on the death certificate and like what actually happened to her. And then present day, we are with a marine biologist. She is tracking loggerhead turtles, and kind of the timelines collide a little bit. I think it's very well done. There was some very strong elements of faith. I just flew through the book. It definitely gave me like Jamie Jo Wright vibes with the dual timeline and the mystery and just like the atmosphere. Highly recommend this one. Oh, then I actually read, I don't have a physical copy of it, Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson. So that's book 2 in the Wax and Wayne series. So we're following Wax and Wayne in kind of like the Wild West times-ish. Honestly, I didn't remember much from book 1. I didn't really enjoy book 2, but I'm like determined to see this series out. I want to finish it. I mostly did it on audio, and then I think I own physical copies of the rest of the series. So I don't know, maybe I'll enjoy that more. I'm just kind of unconvinced on that series. Then what else do I have? I read the Timothy Keller biography by Colin Hanson. This was for a Christian book club that I'm a part of, and it was all about the people that influenced Timothy Keller's spiritual life. And that's a very unique take on a biography. Unfortunately, they were like, when they would introduce different characters like people that influenced his life, they would give like a mini biography of that person, like tell us when they were born and about some things about their child. Like I didn't care to go that in depth on the people that influenced him. So I wasn't a huge fan of the format of the book. I kind of like the idea behind it, not so much the execution. But it is like an interesting idea, and it made me think like, oh, who would I say are the people that have like influenced my spiritual journey? It made me think. So I liked that. Then I read The Life She Forgot. This is another, did this one have an actual lighthouse? I don't know if it had an actual lighthouse, but like set on the coast. So it kind of had lighthouse vibes without there being an actual lighthouse. So we are dual timeline. We're 1913 and 1947, set in Cornwall. In 1913, for the past 3 years, our main character has had no memory of her past. She got hit by a carriage when she tried to save a boy that was like in the way, and then she lost her memory. And so she was taken in by the family of that boy. And so she's has lived with them for 3 years. And at the beginning of the book, she proposes to a guy that she's kind of known for a little bit. And a lot of things unfold. A person from the family that took her in is trying to get her committed to an asylum. And she kind of gets a little bit of a memory back. So her new husband takes her to this place hoping that her memories will come back. And then we're also in Cornwall in 1947 with this man named William Crawford. He has, in the last number of years, come back from the war and is definitely struggling with the fact that he doesn't feel like he came back whole. And he's got a whole lot of story and mystery surrounding him that kind of comes out as we go. And yeah, I really liked it. And this is going to be a series. So The House on the Edge of the Cliff is the series. And I think that I know where we'll be going from here, because I think there's like a hint at the end as to like a story that happened before this that we're probably going to follow, which I think will be cool. Yeah, so I really like a lot of Joanna Davidson Politano's books, so definitely going to continue that series. I feel like I can't talk today. A nonfiction I read at the beginning of the month was Eat, Drink, and Be Merry by Ray Ortland. I listened to the audiobook, which he narrates and is so good. You can tell when he's kind of like chagrined and kind of like laughing at himself. It's really good. My daughter actually just bought herself a physical copy, or I bought it for her for identifying unique birds. If you get my newsletter, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, you should sign up for my newsletter. It's free. I share 7 things each Sunday that are of interest to me, and one of them is how I'm paying my kids in books for identifying unique birds. So my daughter picked this one, and it's all about being joyful as a Christian. And I really appreciate Ray Ortland's wisdom, and the book was written so easy to read. Definitely would love a physical copy myself to mark up and underline, but also would recommend the audio because, yeah, he's a pastor. He knows how to speak, and then reading his own works, yeah, he was just really good at doing that. Another lighthouse one is Between the Sound and the Sea by Amanda Cox. This also, this one and Raccoon Key are like totally different stories and yet have such similar vibes. So in this one, our main character is a girl named Josephina, or she goes by Joey Harris. Her family sold their business to a guy, and then that guy totally tarnished the family name, didn't pay people. Well, he was just a scammer. So therefore, her and her family look bad. The small town is kind of all mad at them. So she gets an opportunity to go manage the fixing up of a lighthouse, which she thinks is a great idea just to escape for a bit. So she goes to fix up this lighthouse and then comes across these old notes hidden in the walls and stuff in the lighthouse. And then is trying to figure out who wrote these. And then at the same time, there is like someone seems to be sabotaging the fixing up of the lighthouse. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It had that like mystery element and like the history, but also the lighthouse vibes. Definitely some good summer vibes. Oh, I did a reread of the first volume of Emma M. Lyon, and I had originally read them on my Kindle. So now this time I went through and I underlined and highlighted all sorts of different things that I enjoyed in the book. I don't know how much you can see all that, but oh yeah, it's fun. It's such a fun series. This one is, let me read March 14th to you because it has no spoilers whatsoever. I found myself wakened in the early hours to a sound that haunted me at school. The scurry, the scrape, the scratch, followed by an all too earthy squeak. The garret has mice. I weep. It cracked me up the first time I read it. It cracked me up the second time I read it. Yeah, just lots of underlining and highlights and enjoyment in this series. So I am thinking I'm probably going to reread one book a month and go from there. So that was the start. When I first read them, I read them through in like a month and a half, all 8 books. And so now I'm trying to space it out a bit. What did I read next? Oh, yes, I read From the Valley We Rise by Elizabeth Musser? Not even sure. This has to do with France in World War II. So we have a few different characters and things happening here. So we've got Isabel. She is living in, I can't remember exactly where, and she is helping hide Jewish children. Her father has just recently died trying to protect them. And then there is a army chaplain named Peter, and I really found, so he is a Christian army chaplain, and I found that his section very interesting because I've never really heard much about what they did or like how they operated, how they had someone with them. I'm trying to think of what they're, like an actual officer that was there to protect them because the chaplains didn't have guns. I found that very interesting. And then we have a 15-year-old boy named Rene who most of his family has been killed by the Germans, and he is a marquee fighter. And then he's also got a Jewish girl that has been posing as his sister for the last few years. So there's like lots of different things going on. They all kind of come together at some points, and I really enjoyed it. It was really long. I listened to it. This is 400 pages with a decently small font, but I thought it was very well done. Then I read Capture the Moment, and this was all the like park, woodsy, foresty vibes that I was going for. Our main character has been a zoo photographer and now wants to get into wildlife photography. So she goes to a certain national park that I'm totally blanking on, and is trying to take a picture of like the most famous grizzly bear. And so she's working on trying to capture it, waiting for it to come out of hibernation, along with all the other photographers that are waiting. And then we also follow a park ranger who is a teacher in a school during the year, but then a park ranger in the summer. And then we also get a perspective of a poacher, which was very interesting. I've never read, it's like, in a way, it kind of felt like a lot of suspense, murder mystery type books where you get the perspective of like the murderer, which I don't normally like. But this was of the poacher, which was just fascinating. So this is going to be a series, a National Parks series, and I'm looking forward to reading book 2. Then I listened to Surprised by Oxford by Carolyn Weber, and this book was so good. It is all about this woman who she wasn't an atheist, but she was engaged to an atheist, and she was more just like a nothing as far as religion goes. But in Oxford, she gets in with a crowd that are, some people are Christians, some people aren't, some people are questioning, and over time she becomes a believer. But I need to change my battery, and then I'll tell you more. And what I thought was so interesting about her journey to becoming a Christian is how, like, what's the right word I'm looking for? How, like, not the right word, but like academically, she thought through all of it. As someone that, you know, grew up with parents that were Christians and like going to a Christian school and church and all that stuff, I never had to like think through it on as many levels as she does in this book. And I think it was really good for me too to think about some more, like some of the arguments for and against it, to just remind me why I believe what I believe. I'm not sure if that really makes any sense, but I really enjoyed her journey. I just got the movie out from the library, and it's so funny, like the cover like totally makes it look like a romance, and I think it's even categorized under romance. But if you read the book, I actually paid attention because I had already requested the movie. Any like romance stuff happens at 97% into the book. So I think it's really funny, and it just goes to show that like they won't really produce a movie without making it into, well, I don't know, I haven't actually watched the movie, but yeah, it just seems kind of funny. Oh yes, If We Make It Home. This is by Christina Suzanne Nelson. This isn't a very nice cover because this is the large print edition. This follows 3 women who were friends in college. They haven't seen each other for 25 years, haven't spoken in 25 years. And then they come back because I think their like sorority house, I don't even know the wording, is getting shut down. And they go back for this, like, I don't know, get together thing. And they kind of don't even almost recognize each other. Each of them have changed so much. They're all embarrassed in their own way about who they have become. And they all sign up for this wilderness survival week-long adventure. And things go incredibly wrong. Incredibly wrong. And it was interesting to see them try to survive. So this also gave me those woodsy vibes I was looking for. Just a little bit more survival than I want in the woods. Like, I mean, I do want to survive the woods, but I don't want to have to try to survive the woods. Christina Suzanne Nelson always knocks it out of the park. Then I've got Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. I actually listened to this one, and then I went on, this one's a library copy, but I went on to buy a physical copy for my 15-year-old because it is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about Get Out of Your Head. Jenny Allen helps you transform your life by renewing your mind as she explores how what you believe about God shapes how you think about yourself. The negative thought patterns are keeping you stuck. How to hold space for silence and community and why they matter. The science behind why your thoughts can change your life. Your God-given power to confront and overcome your fears. Yeah, I thought it was really good. So, got a copy for my daughter. I guess this makes, I don't know if this book really counts. I didn't write it on my list of books that I read this month, but it was another Lighthouse book, The Puffin Keeper. The Puffin Keeper. Okay? Yes, words. So hard. This is kind of a chapter book, kind of a picture book. It's like that mashup between picture book and chapter book. I kind of just started it because of the drawings, to be honest. The illustrations were really cool, but it has to do with this boy that gets, their boat is sinking and they get saved by this guy that works at a lighthouse keeper, and how that changes his entire life. And yeah, it was just a sweet little story. And I don't really want to tell you the ending, but I was like, oh, really? Wow, that's like a cool thing about history that I had no idea about. So if you want to know, you got to read it. And the last one was a poetry collection, Sonder and Mori by K.E. Andrews. So this is just a very short collection. Let's see, how many pages was it? 50 pages of varying lengths of poetry. Just to give you an idea, some of them are longer than others, about all sorts of things. She is a believer, so there is some of that in there. And yeah, it was just great to read another independently published poetry collection. So not the largest reading month, not the most amount of books read, and that's okay with me. What did you read in May? Anything you'd recommend for me for this summer? Like I said, I'm definitely reading less, so I'm trying to prioritize books I'm excited about. I am also picking books for the Passport to Summer Reading Challenge and sharing my picks over on Instagram. I'm doing each week, I'm picking the next prompt and finding a physical book and an ebook if I can for both of them, or both, 2 books for the one prompt, an ebook and a physical book. I'm going to end this here because the words are just getting jumbled. So thanks for hanging out with me for another video.